I work in education, and obviously by the nature of that, there are quite big demands on my time, and I'm sort of incredibly busy through the week and over the weekend as well. And I was finding that I had very, very little energy. I sort of felt exhausted all the time, and I was looking for a way to also lose weight, but realised that by sort of going on the more traditional, if you like, sort of calorie counting restrictive diets, if I already didn't have any energy, I was potentially going to deplete my energy even more. And I was looking for a different way to tackle those two sort of parallel issues and sort of re-energize myself, if you like, and sort of to give myself that motivation and that sort of way of pushing through and moving forward. I've tried lots of different ways previously. I've tried sort of different sort of methods, and none of them had been successful, which for me was very frustrating, because in sort of other areas of my life, with a lot of hard work and effort, I have been successful, but it didn't seem to me at the time that when I was trying different things and I wasn't being successful, nobody could give me an answer as to why it wasn't working. And so I reached a point where I didn't really know what to do. So obviously, like I suggested, I've tried sort of calorie restrictive diets where you're set a limit of how many calories you can have across a day, and I've tried sort of intermittent fasting as well, and I've tried sort of a combination of calorie counting alongside sort of exercise. But what I was finding was that whilst I was doing what I thought was the right things, I was following the instructions, I was, watching what I was eating, counting my calories or my points or my treats or whatever the actual things were for that particular program. But actually at the end of the day, I lost a little bit of weight, but then all of a sudden it sort of plateaued for no apparent reason. There was no changes in what I was doing. And I really, even though I was pushing myself with the exercise, the gym and everything, I actually didn't feel any better. I felt sort of completely exhausted. I saw one of your posts on LinkedIn and I followed the link, and it intrigued me to think that you had worked with other people that seemed to have similar lifestyles and sort of roles that I had, i.e. very demanding, etc., people who had tried the more traditional methods and not been successful, but having worked with you, they had seen the positive results that they were looking for. And I think most importantly was the fact that you spoke about the re-energizing, having more energy, feeling as though you can achieve what you're setting out to achieve, but without sort of making seriously radical changes to your lifestyle, because you have an awareness that you can't do that. You've got the bounds of what you're doing in terms of your job and your family and your everyday life, but by making sort of, as you described them, incremental changes, that can actually have a huge impact. And that sort of resonated with me. It starts very gently in a way. So you look at the first sort of element was to be reflective, which I think is important, because I think probably from a psychological point of view, we don't have enough time in our lives to reflect, really. And so it was being reflective on the things I was doing at the time, and then looking at those things that I was doing at the time, like my behaviours, my eating habits, and thinking about little changes initially that I could make that would potentially have initially a small effect, but then obviously as that builds up, then incrementally bigger effects each time. So to give you an example, at the start I knew I wasn't really drinking enough water, I wasn't really drinking enough fluids because I don't really feel thirsty very often. But by just making a few subtle changes, like every time I fill the kettle up to make a cup of tea, I have a glass of water at the same time. That's not a huge thing to do, but actually it meant that I was pushing up my water intake up to now I'm drinking sort of regularly at least 2.5 litres of water a day. And it was things that I could see would relatively easily fit in with what I was already doing that would then have a knock-on effect in terms of the other aspects of the programme. I found it a very positive experience because I felt that I had to make sure that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, because it was like having a regular check-in, and I was almost accountable, if you like, to the coach, and I wanted to make sure that I had tried everything that was suggested for that week, so that I could then give an honest feedback on, yes, that did actually work, or I know I found that a bit difficult, or whatever. So I found it, having that sort of one-to-one and having that sort of weekly check-in where you're actually speaking to one person, and you're looking in depth at different aspects of what you've done over that week, and again reflecting on what you've done. I found that really beneficial for me, and it motivated me, A, to do the programme work for that week, but B, to then carry on for the subsequent weeks as well. Over the 12 weeks that I was doing it, I certainly feel I have lots more energy than I had at the start of the programme. I've managed to increase my exercise over the 12 weeks. So I started off very gradually introducing sort of walks before school and after school. And then gradually I've increased that to include some gym sessions. And that means that I know I've got more energy because I'm able to fit the exercise in alongside my other work that I do. I know I'm sleeping better over the 12 weeks. My sort of sleep patterns have improved, and I've lost 13 pounds in terms of my weight. If you are really committed to doing it and you want to see a change in a very positive way, then I would definitely recommend it as something that is going to have a positive impact on you and your well-being. And it's more than just a weight loss. It's not a weight loss program in a sense. It's more than that, because it, as I say, it's reflective because it makes you think about things, but it's also looking at how you can make, like I say, these little changes within your normal routine that are going to have a very positive impact on your life. And then it teaches you how to do that so that you can then continue on once you've got those good habits, and once you've got those sort of routines embedded, you can then move on, and it's something that you can then take with you. So, realistically, I would say definitely give it a go.